in just about every video that our guest has been in, the world famous Joe Cattan. He finally joins us for his officials perspective video. Joe, man, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah. I believe that you, correct me if I'm wrong, but have you officiated the most state tournaments in history? Is that right?
Well, I'm on number 27 coming up.
Okay, so and so far there's only been as of this filming, we're filming this in November of 2023. There's only been 60, so you've got, almost half, just a little bit short than half.
Well, it's kind of funny. I moved to Indianapolis in 1986, and I was told that the following year would be the first time I would have gotten a state. So it would have been 1987, but I left. So I came back to Louisville in 91, and once I had to get reacclimated, I guess you would say, and I did it in 94 was the first time.
94?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've done it at Atherton, you've done it at the Dungeon, and you've done it out at GRC and the Horse Park. So I've been
at every venue, yes.
Yep. That's cool, man. That's cool. So the wrestling community, they have seen you forever, but they may not know much about you. So, Joe, tell us about your high school wrestling career for those people that don't know.
Well, I started in 7th grade. To say the least, I got my butt beat very badly. I was a little fat kid. Well, I learned real quick to lose some weight, and I came out the next year, and I won quite a few matches that year. That was the first year I lettered, actually.
I got you. And what high school did you attend?
Doss High School, south end of Louisville.
Doss High School in Louisville. And I haven't published it as of the filming of this video. I haven't published it yet, but I'm going to be putting out a referee video for the guys that we have videos for, photos that sent me of guys that wrestled in school. Now we're officiating, and you sent me a couple, and you look like you're an animal out there, man. You just have that look. I'll insert a couple of them here. You just look like, just like this dude's a wrestler. He was meant to be on the wrestling mat. Just the facial expression that you have. And you still compete, is that correct?
I still compete. I've slowed down quite a bit, still strong as an ox, but not quite the Joe Cattan of old, but yes, I still compete.
I got you. And we done a video with Austin Myers. We done 3 of his 4 state championships, and one of his state finals, you're either the head referee or you were the assistant, and he pointed you like, I wrestled him once. I was like, I didn't know you wrestled Joe. I bet that was fun, wasn't it?
I wrestled him in the Bluegrass State games.
I got you.
I had officiated all day long, and there at the end, there were some guys that said, "Hey, you want to wrestle?" So I jumped in and wrestled a college guy first and pinned him in the first period. And it was kind of funny. Austin's dad was up in the stands, and he came over to me later after his son beat me by 1 point. We went into I don't know how many overtimes we went into, but I ended up losing on by 1 point. But give it to the kid at the time. I mean, he was tough, no doubt. Yeah. Anyway, I talked to his dad in the stands later. He said that, after I looked like I tore the head off of the college kid, he was kind of worried about his kid. He didn't want his kid to lose. And, well, he didn't. He still won.
And, I mean, there's no Austin, I think he's 196-0 at his time at Campbell County, one of the best Kentucky high school wrestlers ever. And if you can take him to overtime and only lose by a point, you've done something.
Well, it was a fun match.
Yeah.
I believe Chris McCoy may have actually been the official on that. He technically wasn't an official, but he officiated that match.
I got you. So been a fixture at the high school state tournament for now, as of this filming, about 29, 30 years, somewhere thereabouts, give or take a year here or there. Before we get into your match video, Joe, talk to the newer officials, the officials that, you know, maybe have 5 years or less in. What would you, because we ask our veteran officials that we do reviews with, what would you like them to know? What would you like them to be coming out of the gate? What would you like them to know about being an official? What would you like them to be good at?
Well, right off the bat, you have to look the part. Make sure you've got proper slacks on. Buy your slacks. Make sure they're slacks. Okay. Don't be wearing any like parachute pants or black blue jeans or anything like that. Make sure they're like Hager pants. Make sure they're black pockets. Do not buy anything with white pockets. Keep your shirt tucked in. Just look the part. Look professional when you come there. Try to get there definitely on time. Be prompt for the weigh-ins. Make sure you talk to the coaches before you show up to do the weigh-ins. Make sure everybody's on the same page. Definitely, when you're on the mat, well, let's just say this. Know your rule book before you get on the mat. You got to have that. That's your arsenal. That's the key thing right off the bat. Make sure you know the rules. All right. So there are a lot of situations out there that come up, and you got to rely on what you've learned. All right. So just take your time, be patient. When somebody wants to bring you to the table, listen to their story first. Don't jump in. Don't totally shut them away. Listen to what they got to say. And then basically, if you can make a correction, do. If not, just make sure you can back up what your call is. Just be confident when you go to the table and you talk to the guys. If you got the confidence, it'll take you a long way. If you're showing weakness, what I mean by that is you've got your head down, you're kind of looking confused, those things are going to hurt you. So just be confident, know your rule book, stand your ground, listen to them. Don't jump to any conclusions right off the bat. Just be patient and just stick with that rule book and you'll be okay.
Yeah, that's on my end of the state, you guys know I live in the eastern part of the state, and we're doing our best to get referees, former wrestlers from, schools like Johnson, Central, Martin County, Show and Clark, Belfry, a couple other schools around. We've got a couple guys that are more than interested. They haven't taken the test yet. And kind of the exact same thing is I'll tell them, like what you said, look the part, know the rules, work, and your mechanics. That's the mechanics part is something I know we work on in our referee clinic. But going back to the rule book part of it is I tell them about 97, 98% of the issues that we deal with come from a newer coach, a newer wrestler, a newer somebody with the sport that just doesn't know the rules. They picked up something third hand from somebody that wrestled, from somebody that knew somebody that used to do this. And like we done the video with Andrew Dennison about, and I brought up, on a lift and return, like a mat return. I don't know how many times I've heard people say, coaches say from a corner, take me to the table, why didn't you call this a slam? His knee didn't hit first. Well, coach, show me that in the rule book. Show me that exact wording in the rule book.
Wording is control.
Exactly. And I was like, it's not, if you can show me in the rule book, show me in the case manual, I'll change it. I'll admit, yep, you know what? That should have been illegal. 1 point for the other kid, but it's not there. That's a perfect example of not knowing the rules. And I'll, kind of after the meet or after the match is over, I'll say, hey, coach, listen, not trying to be a punk to you, but you probably need to go back and read chapter 7, where the penalties and infractions come in, because that wording is not there. They'll see me a couple of minutes later, like, you know what, Green, you were right. I always third, the knee had to hit first, but like you said, it's control on the way down. And I'm like, okay, I think we all learned something here. So, Joe, the sport's growing. We have a record number of teams, or schools, I should say, that have boys wrestling. This will be the first year coming up as of this filming for the girls wrestling, and it's a adopted KHSAA sport. We're going to have a state tournament for the girls. And when you look back on your time as a wrestler and as a referee, because you've got a lot of experience across the state, what do you think is like the biggest, or some of the biggest, you have to limit it to one, but some of the biggest changes that Kentucky wrestling has seen over the years?
Oh, we've got a big improvement in our officials as far as our level now, because we all look at each other. We're all getting consistent on what we do. And that's really critical, because if anything, the coaches want us to be consistent. All right. Yeah. So if we got a certain call that we're making, we want everybody making that call. We don't want to be kind of singled out or anything like, well, we call stalling in the eastern part of the state different than we do in the western or the central. Well, we all want to be on the same page. We all want to call it the same way. Okay. Same thing with any type of illegal situation. I always talk about the Blair ride. That's a good one right there. That's basically a twisting hammer lock. Yep. If the arm is pulled out to the side. So I always try to tell people straight up, these are the things you look for on that Blair ride. If that hand comes up and you see the palm, you don't want to call it illegal. That's the first thing. Every time you want to go potentially dangerous if you can. You always want to catch those moves before they become illegal. And it's the safety of the wrestler. That's what we're looking forward to. Mm-hmm. So, again, preemptive officiating is where we want to be.
I got you. And you've had some phenomenal state tournament matches. When I posted that clip of 2000 of you and Aaron and the Collinsworth kid from Scott, I believe it was, I put it out there. I was like, who is this guy? And I think it was McNutt that said, looks like a young Joe Cattan. Did you remember that happening?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they swung into me and basically felt like a kung fu kick, but I got right back up and kept on it.
That's one of all the, that's what I was saying in Aaron's video, and especially the bigger weights. I mean, yes, it was unfortunate you had to take a tumble, but being rough within the rules is part of wrestling. You can be physical, and those two dudes, that's probably the most physical match I have on video. I've got 36 up to 60 years, and that match is just such a great, and like you talk about being confident with your calls, you hit the Collinsworth kid for unsportsmanlike, and you can see, you can't tell what you're saying, like the audio, but you can see, you look at Aaron and you say, stand up, you won. Because you hit him for unsportsmanlike, and it was in the overtime, and he gets that point and wins. I mean, that's a great example of being confident with a call.
Well, I don't recall that particular part of the match, but I remember the kick.
Yeah. And talking about your matches, like I said, you've officiated some great state tournament matches, but the one that, and I think this is probably the best one you could have chose to discuss and go over, was the 2014 match between David Carr and Trae Blackwell. And the reason I say that before we get started is both went on. David, as if this filming, is still wrestling at Iowa State. Trae went on to Oklahoma, the Sooners. David, of course, national champion. He was in the national finals last year. I think he's ranked number 1 preseason coming into this season. And the reason I bring up college is you also officiate NAIA, correct?
Well, I'm a Division 1, 2, 3 NAIA. I do them all.
I didn't know you were Division I. That's how long have you been officiating college?
Started in 2016.
Okay, and if I'm not mistaken, you also do the conference. What I'm not sure what the name of it is there in Bowling Green, right?
Yeah, that's the Mid-South, the NAIA.
Mid-South.
Yes, I've done that from 17 on. I don't have it this year. That's basically a end of season, kind of like state tournament. It's a preliminary tournament before the national tournament. This year I'll be doing the WAC, which is the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference.
Cool.
But yeah, I got several D1 open tournaments, D2 dual tournaments. So yeah, I'm doing everything in the NCAA and the NAIA.
Man, that's awesome. That is awesome. So,
but you know, considering I've only been in this a few years, I'm happy with my progress. So.
oh no, yeah. I mean, that's to be able to do anything at the collegiate level is, you know, you've done something, man. You've made an impression on the right people. So, Joe, we're going to pull up. Now we're at the horse park. You guys know Kentucky Horse Park, and
wide open spaces.
Wide open, man. Wide open. So
easiest place you can officiate anything. You don't hear the crowd. It's just you and the two guys out on the mat.
You and the two kids and your assistant buddy out there. So we're going to go ahead and hit it.
All right, here we go. David Carr, the third Woodford County wrestler.
All right, start this match. I didn't have David Carr at all during the tournament. Didn't know anything about him.
State champ.
You know, Trae, you know, here he is. He'd been there many times before. As you see, he took him down there right off the bat. And I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be easy, you know, quick. Yep. We're going to be done quick. Well, I was wrong. Yeah. It's turned out to be an awesome match.
Finish off a stellar career here at Union County.
So this, you know, you've got two phenomenal wrestlers here, and they're high level, even in high. David's an 8th grader here. Are you, I'm not saying changing your style, but are you like letting the kids have a little bit more leniency on technique, if you will, instead of like
at some point, Rusty,
stopping stuff a little bit early? You just letting them wrestle it out
tonight?
No, to me, every match is the same.
Okay, that's exactly what I wanted you to say.
I don't do anything on any match any different. It doesn't matter who the wrestlers are. I don't care. You could be a novice or you could be a D1 champion. I'm gonna look at the match the same way, show no bias. I just watch it and then call the points, and as whatever happens.
That's the exact answer I wanted you to say. Is like I said, no matter if it's a Tuesday night duel at whatever school or the state finals, you need to be consistent, right?
That's correct. Should call it the same way for no matter who the opponent is. No bias whatsoever.
Exactly. Now, I think you've got Christopher Reeves as your assistant here. We're neutral.
Now they're in a neutral position.
We're neutral.
Next takedown.
That is Mr. Reeves. You are correct.
Yep.
30 seconds left.
Now, right there, when Trae threw him to his back right there, or David threw Trae to his back, and you're counting near fall,
wow.
The whole crowd goes crazy because that's Trae's a returning 2-time state champion. He's a senior here, and David's an 8th grader.
Yeah, that was a wild moment for me because I'm thinking, wow, this is an 8th grader pinning a senior here.
Points for Carr.
Where'd this kid come from?
3-2.
But it doesn't matter. It's whatever happens on the mat.
Exactly.
If he gets those two shoulders down for 2 seconds,
off of his back there, but now Carr
it's a pin.
takes a 6-2.
In this case here, we're going to another period.
Yep.
Now I know, wow, I got a match.
Yeah, what's going on here?
We're in a little scramble right there, and Carr came up on top.
So red chose neutral.
Blackwell takes neutral.
Union County crowd comes to life. A lot of Woodford County people.
I
here
think
as
he
well.
got rid of his jitters, with that last move.
Carr front headlock. Let's see if he can.
He got taken down earlier in that first period, and then he came back and got an escape, and then all of a sudden put him on his back, and now I think he got rid of all those jitters, and this boy, he's ready to go.
Yeah. Do you,
Crowd
Joe,
comes
do
to
you
life.
talk to the wrestlers? Hey, action, fellas, action, stay in the center, work to the middle.
Yes, I'm very verbal.
Okay.
Get close to the edge, I'm yelling center. If they're just kind of pushing, not doing much, I'm yelling action,
Here,
improve.
minute
Because
to go.
We're not
That's
supposed to
something-
coach,
And I think a lot of
but
people getting into this
definitely
game.
got to give verbal commands the entire time you're out there. If you see any issue with an arm or basically keep it legal. Keep it legal. Technically, we're not supposed to point out exactly what the person's doing because then you're coaching. But that wrestler knows if he's got an arm and it's in a precarious position wherever he knows. So they usually do realize keep it legal.
that in my region down here on the eastern part of the state, working with new officials, I'll tell them like exactly. I'm glad that you echoed that. Is be able to say, hey, work to the center, work to the center. See some action here. See some action.
And that's
Union County fans don't like it.
I believe you called 2 right there.
Almost scrambling off the mat
And
that was a good takedown right there.
I was gonna say, and that goes back to experience of knowing what a takedown is and knowing what points of control needed to be or what points of support need to be in bounds. Because that was he needed that takedown to stay close.
Oh, look. Oh, it's close.
Yeah, right now, David's ahead 6-4.
Put himself in jeopardy, but had Carr's
He's trying to get him to escape. Well, not going there.
5 seconds.
Oh, here we go.
Trey Blackwell.
He got a 1 count.
All right, you got a 1 swap there.
And the time went out, so literally the time expired prior to that second count, or that would have tied that match up.
All right, so that was a perfect time to stop here. David's got blood time. You can see Joe Jr. getting onto him there. When you got a 1 swap, the horn sounded in the process of your second swap. Let's say they take you to the table. What would be your explanation, Coach? I didn't get a complete swap on that, or what would you say to them?
Coach, that the horn went off during the process of my count. So that negates that count. You got to have a complete count for it to count, basically.
Right. Okay, because your words of wisdom on something like that, I know the newer refs are gonna it's gonna resonate with them because, like I said, they've seen you forever, senior official at the state tournament. So I'm sure at some point some of the newer refs are gonna watch this and be like, if Joe said it like that, that's how I'm gonna say it.
Great one.
Trey Blackwell trailing 6-4.
That'd be good for them.
For the young Carr out of Woodford County.
Yeah.
Again, stay calm whenever you're going to the table. Listen to what they got to say. Now, I want to point something out. They need to be direct and to the point because you're not there to give the other guy a breather. Get the information. Be quick to address the conditions that he's bringing you to the table about. And then if you disagree with him, you must penalize them.
Yep.
Okay. Basically, you have to give them it's slipping my mind right here.
Coach misconduct?
Yes. What would you call it?
Coach misconduct.
Yes, that's the word. Yes.
Yeah.
I can't believe I got caught on that one, but yes,
That's all
coach
right.
misconduct. But yes, anytime they come to the table and you don't change your call, you're going to hit them with a coach misconduct. And make sure you do it, okay? Because if not, guess what? He's going to be at that table again in 30 seconds. So go ahead and address the situation, be polite, and then go ahead and indicate that they're going to get penalized. It doesn't cost them any point unless they keep coming to the table.
Yep. First one's a warning. Yep. Now, right there, you gave a 1 point loss of control to David right there on the edge of the mat. That's that was experience letting it burn a little bit before blowing them out, seeing what was going on.
Seconds to go off the mat.
Yeah, as I said earlier, patience. You got to be patient on, especially with the kids today, because takedowns today, they'll grab a foot, they'll dive over, grab that foot, and then you don't have control. You may look like they got control. You could be totally behind the guy, and the guy has his leg all the way up underneath, and he's got the foot scooped underneath. There's no control there. Okay. So until he actually has that foot back out, in this case here, David just won.
Yep.
And a shocker here at 126.
Yeah, it was a pretty awesome match. Well fought.
Yep.
You see, the score was 7-4.
7-4. Yep.
Escape right there, which added that extra point.
3 Woodford County.
Yeah, we drove down to Campbellsville University. They were doing the FCA camp, and we drove down and done his review video in person. We had David, we had Nate, we had Joe Jr., Joe Sr., and then JoJo's little son, Joe the third. They were all there. They was all watching it, and David was talking about the match, and it was funny to watch himself wrestle now, because he was like, "Oh my God, look at that! That was a terrible." He was going over the moves and stuff he was trying to hit. It's like I should have never tried that. I should have tried this. So it's kind of cool to be able to have David on the channel and know that he did win a national champion, did win a state championship in Kentucky. We have 2. We have Mark Hall that wrestled at Ryle. Of course, Mark come up a little bit short in 2010, and David Carr goes on to do it in 2014. So, great match, 2 great wrestlers, and your performance as the official on the whistle, as it's known, when you're the head official. I mean, like you said, it was a consistent performance, no matter if it was a Tuesday night duel at Doss or the state finals. It was the same way. All the same. And a clean match, no penalties really. A little bit of blood time there, but I mean, just a good performance, a championship worthy performance by you. I mean, people don't understand that we take as much pride in giving the kids a good officiated match as the kids do in wanting to win. We don't get out there and just lollygag around and hope for the best. I mean, we really go to off-season clinics. We do training on our own. We go do all these meets throughout the year, and our goal is to give the kids our best. And that should be if you're not able to give the kids your best, then you shouldn't be, out there, in my opinion.
Right. And there's a lot of videos, like you say, you have plenty of videos right here. If you got an opportunity, watch yourself. Mm-hmm. As you can see your mechanics. We talked, well, you brought up the mechanics, but mechanics are very important, because that shows your professionalism on the mat. Okay. That hand goes up tall, rotate your points. Okay. Be firm with every one of your calls. Be very verbal. Make sure everybody can hear you make that count. Mm-hmm. Just have a lot of confidence while you're out there.
And there was not a part of the match that somebody in the crowd would have, unless they just weren't looking, they were, on their phone texting or talking at the restroom. Every call that you made for points, blood time, starting the match, whatever, nobody that was paying attention would have questioned, what did he call right there? Did you see what he called? What was that? I didn't see him. It was too fast, or he didn't hold it up long enough, or it was, and not just with yours, but we've done Jason Sidoris' review, Garrett Pickle, Dennison, Rocky, and everybody's has been, like you said, they can see what you were calling the blood time, pointing at the table, blood time green. Everybody knew what you were calling, and they didn't have to guess. And that's something that sets referees apart from your good referees, your great referees, and even to your elite level referees, is people shouldn't have to wonder what call you made. The scorekeeper shouldn't have to question. The coaches shouldn't have to look, get the coach. I don't know how many times that you'll, at meets or whatever, you'll look at it, you'll see where you'll have a newer, and I'm not trying to, because we all had to start somewhere, but you'll see like a newer ref out there, and the coaches that know each other, they'll get together and have to get the scorebooks together and be like, all right, he called a takedown. I think he may have called an escape right here, and I'm not sure where we go from here. And they're, the points are all jacked up. So if you're verbal, I got 2 red, takedown, 2 red, and give it a twist, hold it up. We're out of bounds, fellas. No, we're out of bounds. We're out of bounds. We're neutral.
I'm liking it, Alex.
Yeah. And that's the way it should be. That's the way. And that's the way, like I said, you're that way. Andrew's that way. Jason, Rocky, Blake, Eric, Mike. I mean, we could go on and on and on and on. Kenny, John, Brett. We could, keep naming people, naming guys. And like I said, there's a consistency to the upper level, top level officials in the state. And we're trying to filter that down into, newer referees, but the whole point of that is the wrestlers, the coaches, the score table, the team scores shouldn't have to guess what you're calling. They shouldn't have to guess what points you held up, what call you made, what mechanic you give. That's what's going to set you apart. That's
correct. And
so
definitely be good with those mechanics. They've improved over the years. Okay. Watch that there. My mechanics are not the same anymore. There have been a number of things, like you say, raising your hand up, turning your points. That's so that anybody in the place can see what the points are. All right. Because the person up in the stands, one, they verbally can't hear you, especially if there's thousands of people in there screaming and yelling. They can't. You've got to be able to show the score by your mechanics.
Absolutely, Joe. Absolutely. Now, before we put a bow on this one and wrap it up, Joe, you have anything you'd like to add or say or take away for the greater good of the video?
Well, I just like the younger officials, have patience. If someone yells at you, don't take it personally. They're trying to get the points for their kid. All right. Again, don't take it personal. Stick with it. Hang tight. You'll be a good official over the years. You'll blossom into a pro like everybody else that's doing the state tournament. We're all individual pros. We do things pretty much the same way. If you watch us all, we're doing all the same kind of movements at this point. So watch older officials and learn from that. And that's key. You got to have mentors. Okay. If you don't have one, we're all here. That's all you got to do is ask. We will help you.
Yeah. And we're filming this on a Sunday. The previous day, yesterday, we had a like a takedown tournament, and we had a new official, and then we had one of the first time I've got to work with a junior official, and I let him go out. Like I done probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 little. It was the first one. It was 3-minute period, like a continuous 3-minute period, or the first one to get like a 10-point spread was like a tech fall because it was just takedowns. I done however many, 5, 10, whatever it was. Then I went out there with him, and his eyeballs were big as beach balls out there. and I think he was 17. I said, all right, just blow your whistle. And I would, pull him back, and we get to get a takedown. I say, raise your hand, raise your hand, raise your hand, green, green two. And finally I'd blow my own whistle. We got two green. Like, you got to blow that whistle. You got to raise your hand. You got to do, and throughout the day, he was getting it. He was okay. I got two red, and I had him twisting, and he would look over at me like, I'd, kind of confirm with him. Yep, that was two. He was on his butt. He had his hands, one on the leg, one on his back. That was two. Or he took him straight to his back for a near fall count. That's a takedown. So he kind of throughout the day was getting better, and I could see it. So again, if you're a new official, reach out to myself, reach out to Joe, Andrew Dennison, Ford, Friddle, Garrett, Rocky, Joe, John Eschen up in Northern Kentucky, Brett, Northern Kentucky.
You can ask me twice.
Yeah, you can ask Joe twice. I'm sure he's got enough knowledge for two people. So Joe, man, I believe we've reached a great ending point. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And it's, good to get your perspective of this match on the channel with, David's notoriety in the wrestling world. But guys, that's all that we have. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the mats.
Thank you.